Good morning, dreamers. How are you today? My coffee's just finishing up. I'm a tiny bit earlier than normal. Just a teeny tiny bit. That doesn't mean this will be uploaded for you earlier. So good to see the sky is a different color than black. It's a good thing that the sun is showing itself a little bit more than it has throughout this winter. Apparently this has been one of our area anyway, one of the darkest winters on record, which makes a lot of sense as to why there's so many people struggling with their mental health. It was interesting because I'm in a much better place. I'm actually preparing to go east with Carl in the truck when he gets reinstated, so that I can see his parents with him. His mom's pretty sick, and so we would like to be able to see her. And so, oh dear. See, I told you it was earlier than normal. Anyway, I'm getting ready to go with him, and so I've had to develop remote access and figure these things out, and it's well worth the effort. It's well worth the effort. And it's interesting the amount of effort that I will put in, and then I'm realizing that I am putting that effort in to myself as well, and it's really important that we put the effort in for other people, but we also do the hard things for ourselves. And self-care is often thought of as bubble baths and mom wine and stuff like that, and it's like, no, sometimes self-care is the hard stuff. It's the making the spreadsheet, the paying down debt, the movement. Yesterday was a very, very heavy brain day at work, and my back was sore, but it was tight because of how I was sitting, and I had every excuse in the book to not go to my refit class. And I was like, no, I'm going to go. I need to go. My brain needs me to go. My family needs me to go. And so I went, and I worked hard. I certainly didn't exhaust myself, but I was sweating, and my heart rate was up, and I wasn't getting all the steps, but that's okay. We don't have to be perfect. We just got to show up. And we've heard the phrase, progress, not perfection, right? But I thought it's the showing up. It's the showing up that's really important. Throughout COVID, we have our family, our extended family. So my dad, my sister and kids, my brother and kids, spouses, and then us. We started this family Zoom on Saturdays at lunch, and we're having a hard time, and I don't think we're trying to let it go, but we're still doing this thing because it was a moment of, oh, we show up. Now this Saturday I had to send in our update via email because this Saturday we can't show up for the extended family because we're showing up for our core of 4, and we're going into Toronto to see Hamilton. And so I sent our update via email, and it was like, yeah, but we're still showing up, and our attendance is not perfect. When we show up, our attention isn't perfect, shall we say? Like, the kids are off, and sometimes they pop in and then they leave, and sometimes I get a text and I have to look at the text, but we're showing up for each other in a really cool way. And I thought, yeah, my family has demonstrated that, not just with Zoom, but all through growing up, that it's not about perfection, it's about showing up. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I grew up and my parents did this and my parents did that, but they showed up. Sometimes, I'm not saying everybody's parents showed up, but the ones that really, really showed up, Of course they made mistakes. Goodness gracious, I made tons of mistakes with the two down there, and I have more to make. I have more to make. But it's not about perfection. It's about showing up. It's about progressively moving forward together. And a friend of mine asked how my walk with Jimmy was on Monday night. And I said it was really good. He talks more when we walk in the dark, because it was almost 9 o'clock by the time. It was 9 o'clock by the time we passed by her place and gave her a bit of a hug and a wave. But it was like, it was so sweet of her to ask how the walk went. And yeah, Jimmy, and people that know Jimmy and he's comfortable with you, he will talk your ear off about any topic he is interested in at the time, and he will keep you listening. I don't know if you'll be interested, but you'll be listening to this, or at least hearing it in your peripherals. You'll be hearing that for hours and hours and hours on end. But in the dark, when we're outside getting fresh air, he talks about the serious stuff. He talked about his plan for future housing and career. He's got plans. And he's got to pull up his socks in grade 11 to make sure they happen. But he has plans. And it's pretty cool to hear those plans and to hear what's on his heart, not just what's on his mind. See the difference? And that's because Mom showed up. Mom's not perfect. Not at all. But Mom showed up. And there is one who will perfectly show up for you if you lean in to the fact that they created you and they want you to understand how precious and wonderful you are. But we'll leave the sermon for another day. You know what I'm talking about. So because the divine is within you and the divine shows up for you, show up for yourself. Show up for the people around you. Sometimes you show up by having a nap. Sometimes you show up by saying no. Sometimes you show up by putting those boundaries down. Always by putting those boundaries down. But sometimes you show up because you said yes. I really am tired, but I'm going to show up for that friend who really needs me. And then all of a sudden, the fatigue lifts and you're there. Sometimes showing up for yourself is putting on a pretty shirt instead of a t-shirt. I don't know what it looks like for you. Only you know that. But progress and showing up over perfection. Don't think if I'm not perfect, I'm just going to stay home. You'll never, ever leave. Ever. And that's not a good place to be either. You're worth the effort. Yes, you are. You are worth it. So do whatever you have to do to make sure that today is a beautiful, wonderful day. It might not be full of beautiful, wonderful moments, but overall, show up for yourself. Know that I love you. Thanks for showing up for me. Have some sweet dreams. Bye.